when Isabella, a 58-year-old Italian-American architect, first kissed Carmen, a vibrant 43-year-old Mexican artist, outside a Santa Fe gallery on that starlit evening. Neither could have imagined that simple gesture would become the foundation of everything they'd built together. But some kisses carry the weight of destiny, and theirs was a language that transcended words, cultures, and the scars of past loves. In a world that had taught them to hide, their lips became sanctuaries of truth, comfort, and infinite passion. I never believed in love at first sight until Carmen Delgado walked into my architectural firm that Tuesday morning, her paint-stained fingers clutching blueprints for the community center mural. At 58, I thought I'd felt everything love had to offer two failed marriages, countless disappointments, and a heart that had grown comfortable in its solitude. Carmen was different. 15 years younger, with obsidian eyes that sparkled with mischief and skin kissed by generations of Mexican sun. When she spoke about her art, passion radiated from every gesture, every inflection. I found myself leaning closer, drawn by something I couldn't name. The children's area needs to feel like hope, she explained, spreading her sketches across my desk. Like possibility, our hands brushed, reaching for the same drawing. The electricity was undeniable. 3 weeks later, after countless meetings that stretched longer than necessary, after stolen glances and conversations that danced around attraction, she appeared at my office door one evening. "Isabella," she whispered, and I heard my name differently in her voice, like a prayer. Like coming home, I stood, my heart hammering against my ribs. We moved toward each other slowly, deliberately, as if we were afraid this moment might shatter. When our lips finally met, the world realigned. Her mouth was soft, warm, tasting of cafe con leche and dreams. I felt decades of loneliness dissolve in that single kiss. My hands found her face, fingers tracing the elegant curve of her cheekbones, while hers anchored in my silver-streaked hair. We kissed like women who had waited lifetimes to find each other. Her lips spoke fluent desire against mine, and I answered in kind. When we finally broke apart, breathless and trembling, I knew I was lost. "I've been wanting to do that since the moment I met you," Carmen confessed, her forehead resting against mine. "Then why did you wait so long?" I teased, already pulling her close for another kiss. That night, we discovered that some connections transcend age, culture, and fear. In her arms, I wasn't the cautious architect who measured everything twice. I was simply a woman falling in love with another woman's soul, one kiss at a time. 6 months into our relationship, I learned that love isn't just passion, it's showing up when everything falls apart. Carmen's mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I watched this vibrant woman I adored crumble under the weight of inevitable loss. She stopped eating, stopped painting, stopped being herself. I found her one evening curled on her studio floor, surrounded by abandoned canvases, tears streaming down her face. "She didn't recognize me today," Carmen whispered. My own mother looked at me like I was a stranger. I knelt beside her on the paint-splattered concrete, pulling her trembling body against mine. Words felt inadequate, so I offered what I knew she needed, most, the language we'd perfected together. I kissed her forehead first, soft and reverent, like a benediction. Then her tear-stained cheeks, tasting salt and sorrow. Finally, I found her mouth, and in that kiss, I poured every ounce of strength I possessed. "You are not alone," I whispered against her lips. "We'll face this together." She kissed me back desperately, clinging to me like I was her anchor in a hurricane. Our mouths moved together in a rhythm of comfort, of promise, of unwavering commitment. This wasn't the passionate fire of new love. This was deeper, more sacred. This was the kiss of two souls promising to weather any storm. We made love that night on the studio floor, slow and tender, our bodies speaking promises our hearts couldn't yet voice. Every kiss was a vow, every touch a declaration that love doesn't flee when life gets difficult. in the months that followed. As we navigated doctor's appointments and difficult decisions, our kisses became both refuge and fuel. Before each hospital visit, Carmen would find my mouth, drawing courage from our connection. After hard days, we'd collapse together and I'd kiss away her tears until she could breathe again. "How do you do it?" she asked one night after a particularly brutal day. "How do you love me through this darkness?" I traced her lips with my thumb before kissing her softly. "Because this is what love does, mi amor. It stays, it holds. It kisses you back to yourself when you've lost your way." 1 year in, we discovered that loving someone means accepting their scars along with their beauty. Carmen's ex-husband had been cruel with words and fists, leaving wounds that ran deeper than skin. I carried my own damage, the weight of hiding my sexuality for decades. 2 marriages built on lies, and a mother who died never knowing her daughter's truth. The revelation came during our first fight. I planned a weekend getaway to San Francisco, excited to walk freely as a couple in a city that celebrated love in all its forms. But when I mentioned holding hands on Castro Street, Carmen's face went white. "I can't," she whispered, backing toward the door. "What if someone sees? What if it gets back to my family?" My heart shattered. "After everything we've shared, you're still ashamed of us? That's not fair, Isabella. You don't understand, don't I? I spent 30 years married to men I didn't love, pretending to be someone I wasn't. I understand shame better than anyone." She fled that night, leaving me alone with my anger and hurt. For 3 days, silence stretched between us like a chasm. When she returned, her eyes were red-rimmed but determined. "I need to tell you about Elena." Elena was her first love, her college roommate who'd been disowned by her family when their relationship was discovered. Carmen had watched the woman she loved become a ghost, broken by rejection and hatred. Fear had kept Carmen closeted for 20 years, married to a man who never knew he was her cover story. "I learned that loving women meant losing everything," she whispered. "Until you." I crossed to her slowly, cupping her face in my hands. "I'm not Elena, and you're not the scared girl you used to be." I kissed her then, pouring forgiveness and understanding into the gesture. Her lips trembled against mine before melting into acceptance. We kissed away years of fear, decades of hiding, lifetimes of believing we weren't worthy of open love. "We'll go as slow as you need," I promised between kisses. "But I won't hide anymore. And eventually, neither will you." That kiss marked the beginning of our real healing. Slowly, carefully, we introduced each other to friends, then family. Each public display of affection was a victory. Every shared kiss a rebellion against a world that had taught us to be invisible. 2 years in, I knew I wanted forever with this extraordinary woman. Carmen had moved into my house officially, though she'd been living there in all the ways that mattered for months. Her art filled my walls, her laughter filled my rooms, and her love filled every empty space in my heart. I planned the proposal carefully. We returned to Santa Fe, to the gallery where we'd first met, now hosting Carmen's solo exhibition. Her paintings blazed with color and life, each piece telling the story of a woman who'd finally learned to live authentically. As we stood before her masterpiece, a stunning portrait of 2 women, kissing against a sunset, I dropped to one knee right there in the crowded gallery. "Carmen Delgado," I began, my voice shaking with emotion. "You taught me that it's never too late for true love. You've shown me that kisses can heal, that love can conquer fear, and that 2 women from different worlds can create something beautiful together." The room fell silent around us. Carmen's hands flew to her mouth, tears streaming down her face. "Will you marry me?" I asked, holding up the ring I'd had custom made 2 intertwined bands, one silver like my hair, one gold like her skin. She didn't answer with words. Instead, she pulled me to my feet and kissed me with such passion that the entire gallery erupted in applause. Our lips moved together in the kiss that would seal our forever, witnessed by friends, strangers, and the art that had brought us together. See, me Amor, she whispered against my mouth. Yes, yes, always yes. Our wedding 6 months later was small but perfect. We exchanged vows in English and Spanish, promising to love each other through all seasons of life. When the officiant pronounced us married, our kiss tasted like joy, like triumph, like coming home. Now, 3 years in, every kiss is still a miracle. Morning kisses over coffee, goodnight kisses that promise tomorrow, passionate kisses that remind us we're alive, gentle kisses that say, I understand. Our love is built on this foundation of connection, this language only we speak. At 61 and 46. We've learned that love doesn't diminish with age, it deepens, it strengthens, it becomes more precious with each passing day. Sometimes the greatest love stories begin when you think it's too late. Isabella and Carmen's journey proves that authentic love knows no timeline, no boundaries, no fear that can't be overcome. Their kisses became the language of a love that transformed two women who thought their chances for happiness had passed. Ready to discover your own second chance at love? Join our community of women who believe it's never too late for passion, authenticity, and the kiss that changes everything. Subscribe to our newsletter for more inspiring love stories that celebrate the beauty of mature lesbian relationships.